Comparison quietly steals our joy, peace, and purpose. Discover how to stop chasing someone else's life and embrace the unique story God lovingly created for you.
There was a season in my life where I kept asking one question over and over. When is it my turn to get in this chair? And maybe you've asked that question too. Not because you wanted somebody else's life, but because it seemed like everyone around you was doing big things, moving forward with their lives, great things happening, and somehow you felt like you were standing still, like you were stuck somewhere and you weren't moving and everything was stagnant. I remember one night I was working in the ED, and one of the nurses was so excited because she had just gotten engaged and she couldn't stop talking about them moving to LA and beginning this new life. And she was so excited. And I remember the same night, someone else was talking about how they were getting ready to move to Hawaii because her husband's orders came through, and everyone was laughing and everyone was happy. And of course, I was happy for them both. We were all excited because you get excited when new things come for someone else, right? We all celebrate together. But I still remember that sitting there with a smile on my face and like, wow, that's amazing, and I'm celebrating with them. But within myself, quietly, I'm saying, when is it my turn? And this isn't jealousy or anger or anything like that. Just like, wow, I want to move forward. I don't want to be stuck in the same place, waiting for my own life, to start moving. And as I look back, I realized I was asking the wrong question. And you may realize you're asking the wrong question, right? Because I thought God had forgotten about me and that I was just going to sit here. What I didn't know was God was protecting me from a life that it wasn't mine. And it wasn't time. Timing is everything. Let me share with you a little bit about what I learned in that. Waiting looks very different when you can only see your calendar. God can see your entire life. We look at today. He sees 10 years from now. We see delay. He sees preparation. And sometimes the greatest act of love God can give is the not yet. It's not a no, it's a not yet. And sometimes we don't understand the not yet. I just thought everyone else's story was beautifully unfolding, while mine had somehow got lost in the mail. And I also remember another season. I had come home from work and I turned on um, the Christian television. I think it was TBN. I'm not sure. And I'd watch these women teach, and they'd be on their chairs, and everything was beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, right? The nails were perfect. The hair was on point. They had that soft spokenness about them. Their clothes looked very elegant. Everything was polished. Speaking of polish. But somewhere along the way, looking at someone else, I thought, man, if I want God to see me, remember me, use me, I needed to look like them, which is crazy, right? That you would think that. Nobody ever told me that. I just felt that. And I thought maybe God only uses women with these aesthetics. Like you have to dress like this to have some type of authority. But to compare yourself to what God needs is crazy. Sorry, y'all, my head itches. Um, if you looked more like her or whoever else you have in mind trying to emulate that life, if you looked more like her, if your marriage looked more like theirs, if you came in a suit or tie or whatever, if your house looked like theirs, if your ministry looked like theirs, if your business looked like theirs, it's on and on, then maybe, just maybe, but I was wrong. God has never asked me to become another woman, to look like another woman, to feel like another woman. He has only ever asked me to become the woman He actually created me to be. That means my path looks different. And those two are completely different journeys. We all can't be on the same path. You know what comparison does? It stills things. And I know you're thinking joy, but it stills more than your joy, because we hear about the thief stealing your joy all the time. But comparisons steal your imagination. It steals your ability to move freely and differently, because you become so busy studying somebody else's life that you stop dreaming about your own. You forget about the possibilities. It steals the gratitude, because instead of noticing everything God has already done and placed in your hands and moved you forward and moved things out of your way, you become obsessed with what He placed in someone else's life. And maybe the saddest thing of all of that, it steals your time. And time is something that you'll never get back. It's our greatest commodity. You know, hours scrolling on Instagram, hours watching, comparing, um, wondering, trying to emulate, trying to copy all the questions, when all along, you guys, God has been saying, look down. I've already planted something beautiful in you, right where you are, right where you're standing. I love flowers, and y'all know I do. I do. I love my plants. I love my flowers. I think that's one of the reasons Rooted Vine has become such a part of my life as well. Because if you've ever noticed something about a garden, the roses never apologize because they aren't lavender. The lavender never tries to become a sunflower. And the hydrangeas, they don't compete with jasmine. Everything in God's garden understands its assignment, and we should too. Everything blooms in its own season. Everything becomes exactly what it was designed to become. And only us as people spend our lives wishing we were planted somewhere else instead of using that which is around us. And I've wondered what would happen if we stopped trying to bloom in someone else's garden. What if we simply asked the question, God, show me the beauty you've already planted inside me? I think our lives would begin to look very different. Even this tea bag that I use, right? Everything I need is in this tea bag, but we forget that. There's something I've learned at my age that I wish I understood in my 20s. The book cover doesn't always match the story inside. It just doesn't. You can look at a woman and think she has it all. Think she got the marriage, she got the money, she got the seemingly perfect kids. She got the confidence, the red bottoms, the beautiful home. She driving that nice car. She has the career. She's polished. She's poised. She can influence a room and still have no idea she cries herself to sleep most nights. You don't know what battles she fights or she faces. You don't know what prayers that she's praying desperately. You don't know what she had to survive to become that woman just to smile. So, why would I compare my behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel? Understand that as we scroll through Instagram. It just doesn't make any sense. And yet, us as women, we do it all the time. I don't know if men do it. I can't speak for men because I'm not a man, but women do it all the time. And the biggest change in my life didn't happen because my circumstances suddenly became this perfect surrounding. It happened because I started practicing gratitude. And gratitude is the fastest way to change your life. Every single day, not the kind of gratitude that's forced or faked, but real gratitude, to feel it, to acknowledge it. I'd start noticing the little things, right? First, the roof over my head, the children laughing in another room, my kids being grown and having grandkids, every nickel, dime, dollar that came in my life that took care of me, a good cup of tea, hot water, a hot shower, a paycheck, a supervisor, someone who hired me, a friend who checked on me, the ability to walk when so many cannot. The more I thanked God, the more I realized how much he had already done in the small things, the granular things. It didn't change my circumstances overnight, but it did open my eyes and things did start to change. And once your eyes change, once they're open, your whole life begins to look a lot different. Doors start to open that you thought were nailed shut. The no's become yes. But I also had to repent, and not because I wanted someone else's life, but because I had become so focused on what I didn't have, that I stopped appreciating, I stopped honoring what God had already given me. And that is a hard thing to admit when you have not yet come to yourself. How many miracles had I overlooked because I was busy waiting for another one? That I didn't appreciate the one that walked through the door. How many prayers had already been answered? How many blessings had become so ordinary that I thought they were nothing? I no longer recognized them. And I realized something about myself, about my thought process, that God had never forgotten me, never took his hands off me, not for 1 second. He had been faithfully writing my story while I was busy reading somebody else's chapters. Sis, is this you? Because I don't know what you've been comparing your life to lately. Maybe it's your marriage, maybe it's motherhood, maybe it's your body. And I know as a woman, we're always comparing our bodies. Maybe it's your finances, maybe it's your faith, maybe it's your business, you know, maybe it's your healing. Whatever it is, sis, whatever it may be, I need you to hear me. Let me bring it down because I get excited. The life you're trying to live may not even fit the woman God created you to be. Some stories are beautiful to admire, they're nice to look at, but they were never meant to be yours. Because your story carries a different type of purpose, a different kind of sound, a different kind of feeling, a different kind of calling, different kind of assignment. And that doesn't make it less beautiful than the woman standing next to you. It makes it uniquely yours, your own story, your own feel, your own vibe, right? So I want to leave you with two things to practice this week. The first one is very simple. Every evening before you go to bed, before you take your last sip of tea, write down three things you're grateful for. And not the big things. I need y'all to go deep. Go granular. Not the ordinary things you usually would say thank you for. Train your heart to notice what God is already doing and what he has done. Gratitude is truly like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And the second thing, sis, take one day this week, just one, okay? And stay off social media.
Comparison quietly steals our joy,
Just one day.
peace, and
You can do
purpose.
it. I believe in
Discover how
you.
to stop
Don't
chasing
spend
someone
it
else's
watching
life and
everyone
embrace
else's
the
life,
unique story
but spend it
God has
living
already
in your
lovingly
life
created
now,
for
in the
you.
moment. Go outside, breathe in the air, read a book, look around your home and see how blessed you are. Call a friend. The fact that you have a friend, honey, the fact that you can take a walk, the fact that you can make tea, that you have hot water, that you have cups to pour it in. Sit with God, sit and steep and ask, show me the beauty I've been looking all along. And start within yourself. And I think you'll be very surprised what will be revealed to you. You know, I've come to believe over these years with all my heart, your relationship with God is unlike anyone else's. And that's why they say build a relationship. And why would your life look like anyone else's? The same God who created the mountains, the oceans, the creeks, the valleys, the stars, the caves, created your story too. Never was a mistake made on your timeline. Nothing overlooked your dreams. He remembers them all. Never, he's never forgotten your name. He's written something for you uniquely yours. That comparison will only distract you from the masterpiece he is still creating. So stop. Just stop asking, when is it my turn? Your turn began the day God breathed life into you, right? The clock started ticking, the hand started writing. Live the life that was designed for you, sis. Not the one the world told you to chase, but the life that was designed for you. Sis, I just want to say thank you for taking the time to sit with me today at the table. I hope this conversation reminds you to really look around, to notice your own blessings, to celebrate your own journey. Trust your own timing because I have a feeling someone somewhere is praying for the very life you've been overlooking and taking for granted. So please cherish it. Cherish your health. Be a good steward over it. And thank God every day, every moment for it. And I'll see you next Sunday right here at the table. Until then, pour yourself another cup of tea as I have English breakfast today, and keep your eyes on your own garden and let it flourish. And remember, my friends, you can always, always return. Stay rooted, family.